everybody. This is Echo 4. If you're new, this is a channel where we discuss different media content, and we're going forward with The Bad Batch, Episode 6, Decommissioned. But before I get into the details, let's say hey to the folks.
Yo,
What's
yo,
good,
yo.
everybody? Well,
Damn. At the
somebody
same
else.
damn time.
Yo, yo,
What's good,
yo.
everybody?
I like
You
he,
go, Ken. Go ahead.
I like he taking his sip, so it's my chance. No, he stopped that sip real quick. I was like, but yeah, it's yo, it's your boy Ken Sign. How y'all doing?
It's your boy, the Mad Prince. What's hood with you?
I like our progression. First, nobody was going. Now we jumping all at the same time.
We getting
Okay.
there.
Yep, right. Eventually. But yes, episode 6, we got more questions, no answers, and more bullshit. Let's see. What did we start? How does the episode started off with? But you know what? I'm not gonna get that too that far deep into it. How do you guys feel about this episode, and how you guys feel about the series? Because I know last week we talked about that it needs to kick up a notch with the plot. I don't think they really did. They gave us more teasers, more appetizers.
It's a series of fillers.
Man,
It's like I'm watching Naruto just in reverse.
damn.
No, don't bring me back to Naruto, man. That's like the king of fillers for me. And this,
It is the king of fillers, undisputedly. What the hell are you talking about? Boy,
yeah, but yeah, don't. Oh, that kind of comparison, that's bad news, I would say. But bad news for the Bad Batch. But yeah, it's for me. It was another fill episode. It's like it's a bridge. It was a bridge. It's a short bridge, so we didn't get too far.
Do you still feel engaged with the series, or do you feel yourself slowly mentally checking out because it's a slow burn with some fillers just to get us to point A to point B?
Yeah, I feel like yeah, I'm starting to like lose some interest because at first like oh yeah they're on the run and everything and they're trying to find out what's going on with Crosshair and how they could probably potentially um, get him back maybe and also just try to get out of the fire from the Empire or getting the from the crossfire of the Empire and just I don't feel like there's a huge um, reeling in because we got us hooked in early on is an interest into this storyline, but then they're not reeling us in for it. They're kind of like just letting us float out
Mm-hmm.
there, or we could unhook at any point. So
man, you talk about fire ass first episodes, and then like the shit is
right,
just like, boy, I didn't, man. I'm like, bro, this is the biggest send off in the fucking world, bro.
That's why part of me wish this was bingeable so I can keep the emotional integrity because this is all happening in the short time span. I don't know how you guys feel. You think it's been a week, 2 weeks since the first episode?
Maybe a month. Oh, you mean like in this?
Yeah, in the
within time
inverse.
span of it?
Yeah.
yeah, I say
Probably at least a month, maybe.
yeah, month and a half because they have been doing some planet hopping and um, even some of the missions that they have been doing aren't their planets aren't have been that close to each other and when they initially ran from Camino, I'm pretty sure they stayed in hiding for at least like a week or two. Like, cause the fact that they're a decent sized ship for one squad, and they ran out of rations like a
Mm-hmm.
couple episodes ago. So
It's like we had some episodes that happen right after the other. And then it's like, yo, let's get to the point. We're dragging it off. But I always wonder, like, if I was to binge it, will I be able to absorb it better? Because it's all happened as immediately as their so called experience in it.
And more importantly, like people are still cheering for the Empire. They haven't learned yet, so it ain't that it ain't been that damn long. So, eh.
All right, let's get into it. The details of the episode. We open up with Omega getting some archery lessons from Echo. I am enjoying that she is slowly branching out, talking to the other members of the Bad Batch. It's very short, but it's something. But I feel like it's too on the nose with her replacing Crosshair because here she is with a long range weapon. How do you guys feel about that? Because they gave her his communication and now she got a long range weapon. And we already talked about archetypes. If she's supposed to be force sensitive, she'd be more like the mystic of the group or the mage. And I'm like, when is this going to kick in? Because you're giving everything else that she's going to be their next crosshairs for a bit.
I mean, shit. We already saw her bust a cap and Crosshair's ass, so it ain't like she can't aim. So,
she's still a Django Fett clone. Let's not forget that.
yeah, yeah, especially if you can't tell from the accent. But
You and this accent.
I'm sorry, bro. That's like the most obvious shit in the world, bro. Like, anyway, I'm not getting into
It's
that.
okay.
Um, I mean, it's a squad that operates on a very specific way, and whether you want to admit it or not, Crosshair served the function within that squad. He was like he was a sniper. He be the range character in this group, and they don't really have that. They have a couple tech guys. They have the scout, and they have the muscle. They don't have nobody on range, and so yeah, that's kind of what Omega's doing. She's kind of filling that role. I bet not doing it very good yet though, because she's still learning. But that's kind of where they need her at right now. So
Yeah, it's not. It's like she's not exactly a replacement. She's just a placeholder that they're kind of like
She keeping
curating
that
in a
seat
sense.
warm.
Yeah. Yeah, because like yeah, she's like, all right, here, let's see if you get your Legolas on a little bit. Try to just show these arrows here. But yeah,
because
her.
if she really is force sensitive, then I find it difficult for them not to come across a Jedi at some point and like something happen from there. So I don't know.
It might be
That's
too
if
early. Go ahead.
Yeah, that's if she's force sensitive, but I don't know. I don't know where the plot is going because
I mean,
nowhere.
she has to be something, which I mean, it leans highly towards force sensitivity, which will help in her gaining abilities to use that crossbow or whatever it is a lot more efficiently as far as like leading on her shots and then taking them precise aims and also be more agile because she's going to be moving around from spot to spot. Being more of a marksman if she's going to try to replace Crosshair. He was always like the first one to like dip out whenever they deploy, and he goes set up far away. Like because since he's a marksman, he's nowhere close. He sets out far away and then has to catch up or lead ahead even further. So if to have her kind of like even as a placeholder to kind of do that, that's a tall task for someone who's been stuck on a water planet all her life.
Yeah, but you can't have Omega set up far away, Joe. You can't leave her ass alone. She gets up into too much bullshit.
These last few episodes have been showing, yeah, you can't leave her.
Even if
Like,
you do
bro,
leave
I
her, she end up
literally
coming.
told you to stay right there. I literally told you to stay right there, Joe. See, if them clones were black, Joe, like, don't you touch a motherfucking thing. They'd be like, don't you touch shit.
Baby would
Don't
have
you
got
touch
popped
shit
several times.
don't you touch shit when you go in the store. Don't you talk to nobody. Stay by my motherfucking side. Oh, but you think you grown now. Take off in that shit.
Now, this is not much of a prediction, but let's play a little guessing game. If we're going on the trend that she is force sensitive, by which episode do you anticipate her actually using it?
How many episodes in this?
16, we're at 6.
Probably 14. Shit.
Damn, that far along? Okay.
I think they're gonna drag this shit out. They already dragging it out. It's like, well, fuck, ain't nothing happened. We ain't seen Crosshairs for like what, 3 episodes
No,
now?
I would
It's
hate
like,
for that to be
bro,
the next episode, honestly.
I feel like that's gonna be part of my theory
Okay.
for
We,
yeah, but
we can hold on to
yeah.
that. But for you, what episode you think that she might use her force abilities?
Let's say if it's 16 episodes for this season, I can see Disney trying to drag out Bad Batch for maybe like 3 seasons, maybe. So this like yeah, probably lean towards it later on. So episode between 12 and 14 also. But yeah, I'll say around the 12. Or they'll hint it. They may hint it a little early on if there's a hint. If not, then they'll show it around like episode 12.
Okay, so 12. Whoever gets it right won't have to take a double shot. Ha. This is going to be
Dang.
interesting.
Maybe I want to be wrong.
So continuing on, Sid Gate put them on a new assignment. Didn't even give them a choice. He like, y'all hoes need money and I need a job done. So they had to go to, how you pronounce it, Caleria?
I maybe.
Okay, we're gonna
I,
go with
I
that. Damn it.
lose track of planets. So there's
A
so many.
planet to get a tactical droid before they're all demolished because they're being decommissioned. And along the way, we see some familiar faces. Rafa and Trace Martez from the low end of Coruscant. I don't know how many levels is that. Ken, I have a feeling you know the exact number.
They weren't on level 1313, but they were close. There's like the 1100s or something like. They were down there. So it's like I mentioned before, like some while ago. Coruscant is big. There's like
Yeah,
thousands of levels of
is
cityscape. Yeah.
dense
So
as
yeah,
shit.
yeah. There's a lot of people there that never see the light of day.
No, wait,
And
they were on. They were on. No, them girls. They were from 1313. They said that shit explicitly, in
Clone Wars.
in it's Clone Wars. Yeah,
okay, yeah, I was
they
yeah. So
said that.
I wasn't sure exactly if they were from there or close to there, but
No,
yeah.
they said no because they were asking Ahsoka like, "What you doing down here on 1313? What set you rap like shit like that?"
So it's them trying to
Where
swing
your
back
mama
the.
stay, where your daddy stay, or where your grandma stay.
So, how do you feel about these cameos? We're getting a lot of faces from Clone Wars. This actually feels like it's just another season. It's a season 8.
It kind of is if you're being real.
Yeah,
It's really the spinoff of Clone Wars rather than a sequel at this point though. But this, oh my god, shit. What was the question? Because
As in, how you feel about these familiar faces, these cameos? Because we've been getting them since like episode 1, seeing all these familiar faces, and this is the
this
one from Clone Wars last
this
season.
I mean,
specific one.
Yes.
I would say this specific one. I feel like it was kind of uh,
I really didn't
I
care
guess it
for
was
it.
forced on because they wanted to apply some more significance to those characters. Because
Hmm.
I feel like it. I didn't feel a big necessity from that with Ahsoka meeting and working with them. Like I feel like they could the season probably could have been fine without that arc. And this is Disney kind of like not also like tying in together Clone Wars with Bad Batch,
Hmm.
but also adding additional um, what's it called? A need for their characters and their storyline by factoring into Bad Batch in a sense. Which
Well, you know,
I mean,
oh, my bad. Go ahead.
no,
I'm
I was good.
sorry. Oh,
Yeah, you good. That's the thing. Like I feel like the idea of the Bad Batch it may overall extend like extend the size of the squad or they
Hmm.
like see maybe include other people into the group at some point and they may potentially be some people they could work with which in this episode it showed them kind of working together a little bit so
what I was about to say is, you got to remember that with these productions, there's a good amount of pre-production built into like the whole thing. And if anything, the pre-production takes longer than the actual production itself.
Yes.
So, so yeah, even when they were doing season, what was it, 7 of Clone Wars and shit, the whole idea of Bad Batch, they were probably working on that shit. And when he and then the two girls that Ahsoka met, they were probably working on including them somewhere else. So if you look back at that season, chances are there's a few different nuggets in that they're probably just going to address at a later point.
yeah
It, I just feel like they're going about it in a really roundabout way
Hmm.
because I mean, you can call it season 8 of Clone Wars, but it really isn't because it's not directly carrying on from that story. It's like a side story that just kind of weaves back into it in like the most awkward fucking way. So yeah, so I don't know what's gonna come of that shit. So
Cool beans. And unfortunately, this episode ain't that deep. We just tangling with these sisters, trying to get the head of this droid. Where there's any scenes interacting with them with the Bad Batch that stood out to you.
nope. I'm gonna be
okay
real.
so
I'm gonna be
what
real, Joe. This shit, this was the driest shit in the world, bro. I'm like, okay, these sisters, they're clearly doing the same shit, and they're clearly doing the same shit they've been doing. And if they really working for it seems like they're doing work for like maybe like a potential rebel cell, because if what they said was true, but that's dubious as hell because you know they fucking lie. That's really their thing. So if they really are working with like a rebel cell or the beginnings of a rebel cell or something like that, then that might play a larger role at some point.
Mm-hmm.
And but no, the interaction between them and and them and Bad Batch it was fucking dry, bro. Cause they ain't really ain't not a whole lot happened. They were just trying to they came in trying to get this droid head and shit, and that's really all they were talking about. It ain't like there was like any sort of insight into who was doing what or any sort of like character development and discovery and shit like that for the most part. The most interesting part of like that whole of like what happened there, I'm not gonna address it because I'm pretty sure you're gonna bring it up, but that was the most interesting part. The rest of this shit, the rest of this shit was for the birds, bro. That's real.
You
Yeah,
too,
that
Ken.
yeah, I was like I didn't care for the interactions between the two girls in Bad Batch. I was more enthralled in the environmental direction that they went. That whole decommissioning plant was
Mm-hmm.
an exact flip of the manufacturing plant in Geonosis on episode 2. So like there's a way that they play out the scenes where Omega gets trapped under one of the dead bots. Is similar to when Anakin gets trapped on the conveyor belt and everything. And like the whole scene and everything reminds me
Mm-hmm.
just like almost like Q and not Q and Q, but a lot of the points on it is very similar, reflective of episode 2, which I kind of like. It showed like a more full circle of the Clone Wars in the background, because
Mm-hmm.
in the background in episode 2 you see the uh, movie episode 2, not episode 2 of the series, to clarify. Um, the movie episode 2, Attack of Clones, you see the production of the droids and the building of the droid army and the start of Clone Wars. Well, in the Bad Batch, we're seeing the end of the Clone Wars and the transition from Republic to Empire, and also you're seeing decommission of the droids as well. And that caught my interest and caught my attention more than the interaction
Yeah.
between them. So yeah, I didn't pay much attention to that. So yeah,
I won't
that's
lie. I drew a random emotional connection when Omega was dropped off from the conveyor and almost into the incinerator. I'm like, oh shit, it's Toy Story 3 all over again. How dare you?
oh dang, that's
I'm like,
terrible.
it's too soon. I knew she wasn't in danger, but I felt sad. I'm like, damn, too soon. Unfortunately, Brittany's not here, so we can't make fun of her with this next damn point because I wasn't sure if Wrecker was going to make it. I'm like, damn, we going to do this shit now?
Yeah, I was like, dang, the record got wrecked. the two,
So
Like
Wrecker, we mentioned about crosshairs, and unfortunately, Wrecker had to fill that gap, and he don't fuck with heights. And he had to go to the main control. He had to do a swing a ling a ding to get to the other side, and this nigga stayed bumping his head. And I'm like, God damn.
every episode, this motherfucker tackled some shit and hit his head. Like that's like the worst football player ever. Like you couldn't learn at the first dozen times, bro. Really?
that Fanny did like a fast move and like directing the headbutt the console and shit. Something like he just like why you do go with your hands first. Don't stop leading with your head. That's how hard headed he is.
Literally.
Not that hard headed, because that's where the problems are coming from. Shit.
Hard headed as a stubborn. But
Good soldiers.
when he
Okay.
started chanting, I'm like, damn, we doing this today? I knew we was fucking with Brittany, but damn, we doing this today? And he was also getting shot at. I'm like, damn, we doing this today?
Oh hell no! It's gonna see him go down. It's gonna be tragic. It's going. I was like, oh, actually, I was kind of. I'm not looking forward to it, but I'm kind of seeing if they're going to add some spice because, like you said, there's another filler episode, and like, oh yeah, add some little season on this, man. Make it a little spicy.
Like a touch of cayenne pepper, a touch of red flakes. But I did like how they were insinuating what we already predicted. So I'm like, okay, it's going to get worse.
Yeah, it's like it's strike two. It's way too. It's
It
strike
gon'
out.
it gonna get worse, worse. Following through now, as I said, this episode wasn't that damn deep, but I don't know if they were trying to make it a bit deeper because Rafa had criticized Hunter and saying you're collecting this tactical droid, knowing how powerful it can be, but you don't know who you're getting it for. So she telling him that at the end of the day, everybody have to choose a side. So, do you think that will be something that the Bad Batch will come into question and being more evolved into the greater universe, or you think they're just going to lay low and stay focused on what the agenda they have today?
I don't think they're gonna get a chance to even get that far. I still think they're gonna. I think they're gonna go the way of Rogue One. I think they're gonna die. I think that like their death might spark. I think they're gonna get wrapped up into the very beginnings of rebellion, and their death is gonna spark something.
Oh, they're going to be
And
some martyrs.
I think
Yeah,
they're gonna be
they,
martyrs.
yeah, I see like because right now in this area, it's already you're seeing signs of rebel cells accumulating all around the galaxy, and they might see them like running from one to another or meeting one to another, and they're going to find a home with one of them. And yeah, if they're going to tie into anything from Solo, like and bring the martyrs or anyone else, then like yeah, uh, I feel like that's yeah they'll become rebels, and yeah their deaths would be like a Braveheart moment.
Okay.
Not Braveheart, more like 300. Tonight
Damn.
we dine in hell. Damn.
But no, this
That was
time
rough.
they die in Solus or was it what's that lava planet that Anakin got chopped up on?
Mustafar.
But
Shit. Today
not,
we die on Mustafar. Like, yeah. All right, nigga, do you shit.
and then you see Wrecker like going in the lava with a thumbs up like in Terminator.
You know he gonna go
Fuck
berserk. He
you.
probably gonna down
Fuck
another
you.
way.
I'm mad I'm mad I even got reminded of that goddamn scene, bro.
Ah, great.
But continuing on, because we're near the end, because this episode wasn't that goddamn deep. Rafa got contact her contact and says that, you know what? I found the peoples. I found the Bad Batch, and I know where you're gonna link up with them. Who the hell you think she's talking to?
Be a number of people. Shit, if they're working, well, I doubt that it. At first, I would say Finnick, but I mean, if they were saying if they were, at first I thought that, but I'm like, nah. If they said they're getting this, if they're getting this shit for somebody who needs to fight back against the Empire, I'm thinking Rex. I'm thinking Rex because this might be at a point where both Rex and Ahsoka are still very much together, and you know those girls owe like Ahsoka a few favors, so there's a good chance that might be what's going with that one. Might shit, that might be the damn. It's fucking that might be what's happening here. So yeah, maybe it's Rex who they were talking to who needed that droid head. I mean, because we already know that Rex is is basically rebellion and shit, and and they already introduced the whole fact that they basically made themselves seem like they were dead in order to further that.
Mm.
So yeah, I think it's Rex because he has to show up at some point. It's just inevitable. And if shit. And if old girl Omega is really force sensitive, there's a chance that Ahsoka might show up too, and then that's gonna yield something. So yeah, I think it's Rex who they were talking to.
What about you, Ken?
I think um, at first I was thinking it'll be Rex, but thinking further into it, I was like, no, I don't think it'll be Rex because it'll be a little too soon. Unless, because I don't think they're going to be actively looking for Rex, and Rex won't actively be looking for them unless they come to a point in another episode, maybe like 2, 3 episodes down, where they realize, oh, Rex is out there, and we could, well, they run back into that storyline of, trailing Rex, because it's hinted on early on when they go to see Cut that, oh, Rex was just here. So that trail goes cold because they leave, obviously didn't go follow looking for Rex. So I feel like at some point, not now, but next couple episodes, they'll meet Rex. But I don't think that was Rex they were talking to. I think maybe it was probably Bail Organa, because even in episode 3, he was already starting to plan like how they're gonna combat
True.
the Empire and everything. So
You
and
know what? That actually makes sense because Ahsoka would know Bell Organa at that point, especially in like rebels and shit. So yeah, that actually makes a little more sense. Cause it looked like somebody was in a robe, like in like a cloak or
Yeah,
some
he
Yeah.
shit.
has like a stash or something, or
So
someone.
and Bell Organa like that kind of sauce. That's his
Mm-hmm.
kind of yeah. All
Oh
right,
yeah,
that makes sense,
yeah. He worked well in the shadows too. He was like a good Donzo.
bro. Don't do that. Don't do that. No, Donzo wasn't good at what he did. He was an asshole. That's why he got his ass clipped.
I
That
was
nigga,
Well,
that nigga had 30 fucking shotting gun embedded into his body and still took an L. Fuck him.
well, he gathered his power, and then I mean, kind of similar thing. I mean, Belgani gathered his power, and then a Death Star rolled up.
Yeah, exactly.
So, but yeah, I think it's Bale
I was thinking Rex, but I was looking at that corner of the outfit. I'm like, I don't know. But
because
your options that
also
make sense.
like Rex would already know the workings and formations and how the clone troopers operate, and would know the weakness around that. While Bale, being
True.
a senator, may not have the information, so therefore, oh, but my previous enemies had information on how to defeat my new enemy. So the enemy of
Touche.
my enemy, but my old enemy of my new enemy is now my friend
Well, at
in the
least I,
form of a dead robot head.
unless I'm gonna just use y'all assets. Thank you. Smelly
Hmm.
much. So with that said, I think that goes into the prediction. Unless you guys have any other predictions and anticipation or things that you would at least like to see in the next episode. How about that? What would you like to see? It might not actually happen because we know this shit's moving slow. I'll be mad if we get a crosshair episode at this point.
I'd like to see some fucking plot. Shit, that's what I want. I like to see some plot, something of substance, something not just like here's this week's problems with a little bit of sprinkle of shit that kind of is like teasing you on and on and on. Like yo, I like to see Finnick come back and shoot somebody, bro. At this point, bro,
Like y'all forgot.
Yeah, yeah, I thought that was all
right?
all nice and easy. Mm-mm.
Like
But yeah,
there's no real like we had like the like this new show had like the best fucking setup, then it just completely disregarded it since then. And it's like, well, what the fuck, man? Like, bro, y'all can't do no shit y'all did with episode one and then have all this other shit come along where fucking like where barely everything is moving at a snail's pace. That's fucked up. I'm like, bro, like I hope something happens though, but like I've been saying that shit for like the last 3 weeks, bro. No, I doubt something would happen. I think they're gonna show one little particular thing to bait you into seeing what happens next week, bro. And honestly, Joe, it's bro. If this was an anime, Joe, I'd have stopped watching this a while ago. That's real. You got three episodes with me. After that, fuck it. But
no chance for little less chance for anime, huh?
it's so much anime that comes out, bro. You can't,
Yeah.
you know how many every season and shit, every fucking 12, 13 weeks, you got like 20 different new anime and shit, new isekais and fucking rom-coms and shit. Like, nah. I can't watch all that. I wish it was back in 2010 when I could, but damn, it just got worse. No. So I have to I have to do that 1/4 season rule. If you don't get me hooked by the first quarter season,
I'm out.
shit, fuck that. Yeah. And you know what? I really don't care for Bad Batch right now, bro, because we almost what this is episode
6.
6.
Mm.
Yeah, so we're almost like
Almost
halfway
halfway.
through this
I
shit. And
mean,
it's like and barely shit is like barely anything of substance have happened except for that first episode.
and if you want to
And
be
maybe,
technical,
maybe the episode yeah, and maybe the episode with Fennec, but other than that, bro, shit.
if you want to be technical, that first episode was actually 2. It was double the length. So we've had 7 episodes and we're still dragging.
Uh,
Yeah, it's like I mean I kind of see a similar formula as with Clone Wars, because Clone Wars, like as mentioned, like it started off as a came out first as a movie in the movie theaters, and then it had the first
yeah.
season that followed after. And I do remember that first season kind of dragging on a bit with a few episodes of kind of like it was episodic hopping, like going from one story to another, and it's doing the same thing here. But the issue here is that they're doing it with the same characters,
Yeah, it's the same
while
group.
yeah, while in Clone Wars it was like different set of characters and different plan and different storyline in each one. So like it felt more more like anthology, at least at first, to kind of build the universe together more. While this, I mean, the universe already established, so there's no need to kind of like do that. But I don't know, yeah, they're dragging it on. It's filler. There's not much else to
Now
explain.
I can see why it's not working. Why this not working? Because if this was in concept while the last season of Clone Wars was in production, you're using those same rules, same method. You're not really evolving with the time. It's like the individuals who are behind this project, you did not age well with how people are digesting media now and using the same rules, the same formulas, and it's just not working. That's something like this should have been like one solid drop. So at least then, if I absorb it quicker, I probably won't complain as much. You know what? Never mind. I stopped Yasuke in 3 episodes. It was only 6.
Damn, yeah, you didn't even finish it.
Nah, nah that y'all say was a different kind of
I know, but it's like it was
was a
still
different kind of shit show.
it still was like there was still a disconnect. So I'm like, I don't know if I would receive this more easier if I would just be able to digest everything through, or maybe how they would, I guess construct the story would be different because you're understanding the landscape that you're in. It's like, no, we're in the mindset of when the Clone Wars come out. What 2000 when?
Hey,
Okay, so we're in the same mindset of 2008, doing that same shit in 2020,
but here's the problem though.
2019.
They had 7 seasons though. I mean, because even the later seasons, Joe, I didn't hate it. Shit was still it was still interesting though. And they had a key format working with it. Like they had many arcs going on throughout all its seasons, and at least like there was a tangible story going from beginning to end, like in like a handful of episodes. Then you move on to the next arc and the next arc. Then you get on to the whole series, the whole season long arc that kind of accumulates at the end of the tail end of the whole season. That's a good format, and they kind of kept that. It's just that here, like every episode is its own self-contained story. Like you kind of like if like you can kind of just walk into this shit and watch any one of those episodes, and you kind of get the gist of what the fuck is going
Yeah,
on
you wouldn't
here.
be lost at all.
Because no, because like there's no progression of like an overall plot. It's just like they're just jumping from one story to the next, and it's kind of like they're jumping from one story to the next. There's no sort of fleshing out this story, not really. And like the real arc that they're trying to follow, they're barely touching on it.
Yeah.
And it's sort of like, man, well, what the fuck, bro?
It's like kind of like Ed, Ed and Eddie. Where like every episode is just another day of them like getting up. All right, how are we gonna get on people today to get this money and get these jawbreakers? And like here it's like, oh, how are we gonna survive the day to escape the empire and not get bodied? And
Yeah, but
it,
Ed
it
and Eddie was entertaining. And they didn't have Loki breathing down his neck. Because I'm telling you right now, bro, man, Disney's starting to fight themselves now. It's fucking ridiculous.
Also, question. With that being said, is it the problem is that it's just only centering on the Bad Batch, or you don't think the Bad Batch really has the weight to carry this show as they need them to?
I
um,
think it's ju- I think it's just a problem with the writing and the story. That's it. I mean, they literally have a diverse group of characters, and they're not doing anything with them. They're not putting them in like they're not putting them in interesting situations, and like yo, and like the whole dynamic between how like fucking crosshairs is like betrayed them and shit, and then potentially Wrecker's gonna go the same way. And like there's interesting shit happening here. You're just not doing anything with it. That's the problem. You drop all these gems, but you're not really working with the shit. We gotta worry about this lizard bitch giving them fucking jobs every other week. Fuck this, bro. I don't
right,
give a shit.
right. They like they're handed a handful of D20s and they roll out ones. It's like just like come on, just you start off strong by like gaining interest in these set of characters that at first like we had little to no faith in. Like, we didn't have much faith in like how far we can go with these characters because based on how they were introduced and how I absorbed them from the last season of Clone Wars. I was like, I don't know if they have the range to really, go about creating a whole show with these characters. And then coming from the first episode, I was like, okay, maybe they do. They do. These it's interesting as fuck. I like it. Let's go. And then it's like, yeah, and then just hit the brakes. I'm like,
Nah, and then they gave you Omega, and I'm like, I don't.
Yeah. This is an Anakin ass show, Joe. Because every time it had all the sauce, but it keeps failing, Joe. Like you were the chosen one, but you keep fucking up. That's what this shit feels like, bro. You were the chosen one, nigga, and you keep fucking it up, bro.
you're in the council, but we don't grant you the rank of master. You don't deserve it. That's like,
What's funny is they recognize him as master like in the comics and shit. That shit's weird. Anyway, let's fucking hello, Master Skywalker, Jedi Master, member of the Council. The fuck, like man.
master and saying he had a Padawan.
Yeah, yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, because usually if you raise the Padawan up to knighthood, you usually make they usually make you a master off rip. But it's yeah.
Yeah, Obi-Wan was until night well, not raising, teaching Anakin for a while. So.
No, he was raised to master. He was
Oh,
raised to
yeah,
master before
yeah,
Anakin became reached knighthood.
yeah, that's right. I remember. Yeah, episode 1, they promoted him
Yeah,
to. Yeah,
yeah. So, all right, we just talking
Yeah,
bullshit.
at
And
that
you
point,
going,
but it's okay because this episode wasn't that damn deep anyway, and we need
we got
content.
we got to add filler to the filler.
I swear. But with that said, that's all for now from the Bad Batch. I don't know if I introduced myself. This is Drea. Tune in next week. Drop a comment. Are you feeling this? Are you mentally checking out? Are you gonna still stick with this? I don't know, cause Will sound like he about to fall off in a heartbeat.
He about to right out that door that's behind him.
Until next time, see you guys later. Deuces.
Deuce.
doses.